Hi there, Jan here again. So just picking up on the last cards that I did using the embellishments that I've been making. Just as a reminder, here's just a selection of them. There are a couple of others that I haven't put out, didn't have room for them. But these are using all the embellishments that I've been making. And what I'm going to do today, I've made a lot more of the embellishments, and I've done a slightly different pattern. And I'm just going to package them up today so I can show you how I do that process really. Okay, so let me just move these out of the way for a moment, make some room here. Okay, so the ones that I am going to do today, I've got a couple of packs that I need to make up, and here they are. Sorry about that, I've just jogged the phone, and I'm just going to put these packs together. Okay, let me make sure that I am actually in shot. Yep, just about, by the look of it, just about. Okay, so let's make a start on one of them. Let me make a start on, I don't know, this one maybe. And I'll put this one to the side, but I am going to do that shortly. So the first thing is this, because to me the packaging is as important as the actual elements. And the other thing is that I like everything on my packages when I make them up, and when the person receives them, you can use every single part of it, reuse every single part of it. So I'll go through the little bits and pieces. Now this one, as you can probably tell, and I've posted a few pictures recently, is a gnome one. So I've got my side, my page side. Sorry, my dog's basically ripping up some paper at the moment, so you probably hear him. Just hope they don't bark. He loves a bit of paper to rip up. So that's the side, the page side. I've also got the word banner, which I did. That's on the vellum, so you just peel the back off. I've got the shaker card, the little shaker, which is dead cute, with a little gnome and the reindeer. The little, what's his name? Elf on the Shelf and the reindeer. There's a wreath that will look nice on a card. And I have one of those, I don't know what to call those toppers. So I've got one of those. Sometimes I put a stick on them to make them into like a little lollipop that you can put in a jar if you want to. You just can stick a straw behind it if you want to, if you're not into making the actual roll of paper. I've also got a couple of other elements. I have used that fancy die cut piece that was on one of the cards, and I've attached a little word to it and another one of these embellishments, and I've hung the beads off of this, and that's going to go on the top. So there are actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 full elements, plus a few other little bits and pieces as well that goes into each pack. And the other thing I like to do is I use a sheet of backing paper which coordinates with everything else, so that when the recipient has this, they can actually cut it up to make cards for these to go on to, or, you know, just make other die cuts and things like that out of it. And you also get another topper that's going to go across the top of this package, but you get another topper with this on it, which you can remove or do, you know, use as you please. So let me just get cracking, because I'm really hoping this is going to be a short. It's only a little process video. I'm hoping it's going to be a short. So the size bag I use is this size, and there's a way round to do it. It doesn't just go in a bag. So these bags are 6 3/4 by 9.5 by the look of it. So if you're going to make one of these, you want the bag with the flap opening so that the sticky side of the flap is on the top. Then I use a piece of cardstock, matching cardstock that's been cut to size. So that is 6.5 by 9, and that will fit inside this bag with a very small amount of room all the way round. And also the same with my acetate. And I also, what I like to do with the acetate and the paper is round the bottom corners, just makes it look a little bit more professional. And actually acetate can be quite sharp if you don't. I use that red line tape, as you can see here, because it's quite a strong bond. I use it very sparingly, and what I do is I attach this piece of acetate to the top of the design paper like this. I have to do mine upside down, sorry. And as I say, I'm hoping I am actually in view. I think I am, yeah. So line it up really carefully and attach it. Whoops, whoops. The light's sort of gone a bit at the moment, and yet it's only early afternoon, and I didn't switch the lights on before I did this. But yeah, so I attach that, and in that way, when I stick the elements down to this, so the person has actually got some acetate as well, but when I stick the elements down to it, the paper's not ruined underneath. So a lot of thought goes into the process. Right, so that's that. Now the next thing I do is to attach the elements. So I'm going to have, this is going to go here like this at the bottom, I think. I think I'm going to have this here. It's just about fiddling about them. And also, if you are going to make them and you want to give them as a gift, before you sort of take into account the size that they're going to turn out to be before you sort of cut the ribbons. I mean, if that was too much, I would have made those just a little bit shorter, a little bit narrower, but that will just about fit on, I think. I know that overlaps, but it doesn't matter, it's not the end of the world. Or I could swap it maybe with this, so that could go there, that could go there, although it does still overlap a bit, and that could go there, so he could come down just a little bit, this one. So yeah, in hindsight, I probably would have made these a little bit shorter. But yeah, that's a nice configuration as well. Okay, now where I've got a couple of gaps as well, I thought I would just pop in a couple of these little elements. So, you know, that's in addition to. So I'll put those in as well, like that. And then people can just peel them off and use them however they like. So, what do you think of that? The other side, let me swap these two because that's a bow, and I'll show you why in a moment. I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to put this one down here with the bow and move that up just a little bit, and I'll show you why in a moment. This bow is just going to have to put up with it. That's all there is to it. Right, so the other thing is I'm going to use these little tiny foam squares, and I'm going to use the minimum amount to hold this stuff on the acetate, because I don't want the person at the other end of this to have to struggle to get all of this off. So basically I might be able to manage with one little foam pad on there. I'm hoping I will, because the bag will all hold it secure. So let's get this one stuck down, and that's going to go which way round do I want it? Maybe that way. That looks nice. So let's just pop that on, bring it down as far as I can. And that's actually quite secure on there. It's doing fine. So let's now pop this one on, and I'm probably going to use a couple on here. So as you can see on this shaker element here, I embossed it, but unfortunately I embossed it inside out. But by embossing the back of it, they're very sticky. By embossing the back of it, it helps the shaker elements to move on such a little thin piece as this. Okay, otherwise they can get a bit stuck. Also, whatever you do, don't forget to use your static pad, the thing you use for your embossing, dry embossing, so that none of the beads and bits and pieces stick to it, otherwise they don't move. So let's just take these couple of bits off. I'm hoping this will be enough, although I might need one in the middle. Yeah, I'm going to put one in the middle just to make sure. But I'm also not pressing them down hard. I just want them to adhere, and that's it. So that they can be pulled apart by the person who's going to use them. So let's see where that comes to. That comes to there, and that needs to go about there. I'm putting that in a bit for a reason, which I can show you. You'll see when I'm bagging it up. So I thought I'd just give them a couple of these little spare ones, just to help with the embellishing. So how have you got on, guys, with this? Have you tried any of these sort of embellishments, this type of embellishments? I'm not saying sort of exactly the same as this, but have you tried any of this type? Or have you thought about making some embellishments and storing them? This one, I've got written on the back here, peel off the backing, because you wouldn't notice that it was sticky backed vellum, I suppose. That I'm just going to put a couple on. Don't think it needs any more than that. I'll have a look and see if it needs any on any of them on the banners. Yeah, so have you tried any, making any embellishments or thinking about doing them and storing them as a quick way of making cards? I know somebody did mention that we can use these things they'd be great on scrapbooking, which they would, and that's where I kind of got the idea originally from, because when you're looking for something for cards, all you can find is the scrapbooking things, or I didn't find anything that wasn't scrapbooking, so I thought, well, okay, let me design some that will go on cards, because that's quite difficult to find. So I'm going to put one on there. Gosh, they really are sticky. It's amazing. And I'm probably going to put one down the bottom. The thing is, it's not the end of the world if the recipient has to leave these sticky pads on, because they're in good positions. They're in strategic sort of positions, and there's only a couple of them per, or 2 or 3 of them per embellishment. There we go. I also hasten to add that I'm probably going to end up with a drawer full of them myself as well, because I use them on cards, as you can see, the cards that I showed you. It's just that I quite like this fancy style of cards. It really appeals to me, with a little bit of extra work that has gone in, well, a lot of extra work actually that's gone into them. Right, I'm going to pop this down, and I think he will need 3 little stickers. 1, oops, sticky side down would be helpful. There, 1, 2 and 3. And I here is an example of where I've used the circles. I said they're really, really useful. I've cut them in half and used them as an additional embellishment on the back. And this is one of the little gnomes that I made on, I think it was the very first one of these type of videos. So I've got one on each of them. Okay, so let me just take the backings off of here. One, two, and three. And these two on here, these two are on the back. I raised this sentiment up and I have stuck it down here, but where it overhangs, I've left two with the backings on, so that when the person uses it, they just need to peel off those backings, put some glue on here, and the whole thing will stick down. So yeah, I try and think of as many, you know, things that people might encounter when they're making cards with these things. So I'm going to pop that down. Whoops. I'm going to pop that down as low as I can get it. Don't really want it to overlap. I mean, ideally, I probably, like these, I probably would have cut these a little bit shorter had I sort of taken the time to measure this out first, and then had a bit of a gap between everything so you can see clearly what's on the page. But it's fine if it overlaps. It's, you know, I don't think it's too busy or a problem or anything, do you? Hold on, that one's not level. Let's just lift this up a minute, as it's not level. There we go. That's, whoops, no, there we don't go. There we go, that's a bit better, I think. The thing is that I'm at arm's length to do this so that I'm not in the video. Can't stand being filmed, even by myself. Right, okay, and that's the last little element. So that's a nice little package, isn't it? Do you think? If you were to receive that as a gift, I think that's a nice little pack, and you could easily put these together. It just takes a little bit of time to put the elements together and everything. So right, now we're going to go into the bag. The sticky part that, you know, you fold over and stick it down, that goes to the bottom so that the person doesn't have to ruin the topper that goes on the top in order to get the bag open. So this goes in, and as I say, when you stick it together, hold on, let me try and slide this in here. Well, that's a bit tight fit. There, that's what I mean about that bow. It's just awkwardly going to come to the top. So this is a little bit of a fiddle, but you know, just bend your paper. And whatever you do, don't take your sticky strip off before you've got this in. Push it up as far as you can to start with, and you want to be able to turn it over before you stick this down, and stick this as low as you can, because we would like a little bit of a gap at the top here. So let's just take this off. Put this on here, nice and flat. I wish I had some sort of little name stickers or something, you know, like just to say who I am or whatever. Right, now you can leave it as that. That looks very nice. That's a nice little gift for somebody. But in addition, I like to put a proper topper on it, because you can use these, as I said before, use this as a page edger, the same as these, or cut it down a bit and use it as a page top, you know, a card topper. So anyway, I have cut this to, let me see. So there's an underneath layer. I always double layer them as well, but that's just probably a bit extravagant. So this is 2 3/8, this outside one, by 6.5, or 6 3/4 actually, because I want it to overhang the edges a little bit. and then this one here is 4 by 6.5 or 6 3/4, and then I've folded it in half and I've inked all the way around both of them. The other one, I have doubled it over completely, front and back. It's just your preference when you do it. It's just, I just experimented with both. So this one's a bit thicker, but you do get 2 toppers out of it if you cut it up the middle. This one is slightly thinner, will lay flatter, and all I've done with that is I've stuck the top of this one to the top of this one, and this one hangs below by about 1/2 inch. So on other packs that I've made for different things, you can use the same die that you used for this to jazz up the bottom. Yeah, you can do whatever you like with it, but on this occasion I've just rounded the edges. So now I'm going to slip this over the top, pop it in the middle, and I don't want to be covering up my embellishments completely, but that's why, you know, that's what I'm saying about the bow. If the bow wasn't there, it would be a lot easier, but didn't think about that. So I'm just going to try and get this level, and then all I'm going to do basically is staple it, and that's all that's needed really. So just make sure you don't staple through your embellishments. So let's lift that up a bit, try and make sure that's level, which it looks as if it is. There we go. And I'm just going to, she says confidently, I'm just going to staple it. You can of course stick it if you want to. I can't get that in there at the moment, it's not going in. And there we go. Ah, doesn't want to go in. I bet it's not going to staple either, it's going to be awkward. Right. And then it's just a case of trying to disguise it the best you can. As long as all those elements are stapled together and held securely, it's fine. If I had smaller toppers, I probably would have brought it down further, but this is fine as it is. So I'm just going to lift this up. Doesn't matter if I fold it up out of the way. And I'm going to try and make sure it's nice and level, looks level. And then I'm going to staple this, all the layers together, but make sure you don't go through the element, obviously, you know, the embellishments, obviously. I'm not very good with staplers because I'm not very strong. And it hasn't stapled, of course, typical. Lay down flat and behave yourselves. It's odds on, isn't it, really? Right, where's the base of that? Right, that's got to be stapled there. But you get the gist. That's still not stapling, not wanting to. I've had a couple of issues with this stapler lately. It's getting old, I suppose. Right, like me. Oh, that's not down flat. Still not down flat, that's better. Right, like I say, you can also stick it. It's just, you know, preference. Right, let's see if this is going to work. Yay! Right, and then I can put that down to cover it. And then on top of here, I am going to put this topper. And like I say, this is one of those lacy toppers that I did and threaded the ribbon through. I've also attached some beads, which I've just hooked onto a little gap there, and I've added a flower and the word peace. And that will all hold down when I stick it down. For this purposes, I'm just going to put a tiny blob of glue under here. No big deal. 1 and a little tiny one here. 2. Oops, hold down, behave. And then stick this along the top, and you have a beautiful topper as well. So look at all the extra pieces that you get in a pack, or that, you know, I like to put in a pack. You don't have to, obviously, but it is nice. It makes a nice packaging, makes a nice gift for somebody, and very useful. Hold on, a bit more glue, 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 glue. It's quite fiddly doing this. But I find my dies don't really cut through. If I put sticky tape, you know, on the back of my paper, the dies won't cut through it. Even my really good expensive dies, which I don't have very many of those. I tend to use what I get out of magazines and things, or, you know, what I find really cheaply on Amazon. So, and they definitely won't cut through any of that. But, you know, hey ho, doesn't matter. Just take a bit of time to put some glue on. Not the end of the world. Right, so I'm going to have the word peace, and I'm actually going to put it over to this side, I think. There, because it does help to disguise if you happen to see the staple. That's pretty much straight, like that. And then, in case we forget that it's about gnomes, I've got a couple of little fun gnome fussy cuts that I did, which I'm just going to stick on the end. So that's package number 1, and yeah, I hope that it gives you some insight into how I do them. So little gnome number 1, and maybe I'll pop gnome number 2 up on a couple of little squares, foam squares, since he's jumping about. 1, 2, let's be generous and give him 3. Oh, my tummy again. It was like this last time. 1, 2, and 3. I can't believe it, my dog's gone to sleep. I thought he'd be jumping about. Right, there we go. So little gnome number 2 can also be used, and that would be a package that I would send out. Let me put some more glue on that. That's obviously not going to stick. This would be a package that I would send out, and like I put on the Facebook group, all of these are for sale now. As soon as they're finished, they're for sale. So I hope you have enjoyed this little series. I'm going to carry on making different embellishments and cards and all sorts of things, but they'll probably be for different you know, occasions, like birthdays or something like that, because I've got quite a few Christmas cards now. I do want to make some New Year cards, but yeah, so that looks quite nice to me, and I hope you like it. Please, if you can, like and subscribe to my channel, because it does help me with my YouTube membership. Oh, that little flower, I have to try and I'll try and open this and work that so that little flower petal goes up again. But yeah, and then the back is nice and neat, and then when the person wants to open it, they just open this bit here, and you can pull this down and get to your elements without destroying the top piece, unless of course you want to. Okay, so thank you so much again for taking the time to watch through my videos, for staying with me thus far. I'll put some photos up, and next time I think I'm going to do a few more little punch pieces like this, little fun punch pieces to show you how to do them. And the next time I see you, I'll probably be doing sort of birthday card elements or embellishments or something, or if anybody wants me to, I'll do boxes to show you how to make the boxes for these cards that have got like quite a lot of dimension to them. Okay, other than that, thank you so much for watching, and yeah, well, I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.